Welcome back to Bulldog Books. It's Miss Sunshine. Sorry, guys. Things are getting a little, just trying to spice it up a little. Okay, let's get started with our nonsense words. If you remember your score from yesterday, you don't need to go find that number. If you don't remember and you're wanting to challenge yourself, find yesterday's score so that you can compare if the number of nonsense words you read today is greater than the number that you read last time. All right, I am going to pull up my nonsense words. One moment, please, while I do that. Okay. Okay, everybody get your best reading on your mark, get set, go. And stop. All right, now's the part where you would pause the video to see if you can count up the number of nonsense words you read and see if you were able to get a little bit further today. All right, yesterday we started this book called Breaking Cat News. And we ended on this page where we have Lupin, the lead anchor in our news team, telling us the house is under attack from a mysterious red dot. Then he asks Elvis, one of the field reporters, what can you tell us? And Elvis says, not much, Lupin, only that it is probably dangerous and definitely going to kill everyone. And then we're going to move over here to this page, take a look at these pictures, because it doesn't look like that red dot is as dangerous as perhaps they thought it was going to be. So go ahead and read this speech bubble. Let's move on to this page. Now you're going to read this speech bubble. And now read Puck's speech bubble. Now there's a vocabulary word here in this speech bubble called artifacts. So let's see if you can determine what an artifact is by what happens in this next page. Go ahead and read this speech bubble. And now over here to Puck's. And here we have this speech bubble. And how do you think Puck feels about the fact that they found the buzzy wind-up mouse that races in circles? I think perhaps he's quite happy about that. So an artifact, to go back to that vocabulary word on the previous page, are things that are missing or lost. They perhaps have some history to them. When I've gone to museums in the past, like for example, here in Salt Lake City, we have the Museum of Natural History. When I've gone to museums, I have found Indian artifacts. So it was old Native American moccasins. That's an artifact. And then I wanted to point out this particular vocabulary word, excavation. So in order for them to dig up or excavate artifacts, they have to use special tools. Like that's how they dig up dinosaur bones. Let's take a look at this page. Oh, and Puck's drying his eyes. And everybody's just really happy about finding that artifact toy. Let's read this page. Take a look at Elvis, who has puffed himself up because they have a new character visitor. They're just referring to them as that cat. Doesn't look like Elvis is that excited. Oh, and now we have Lupin and Puck. So are they happy or upset about their visitor? They're not real happy about it. Let's move on to this page. Read this speech bubble. And we're going to read this one together because this is some pretty small writing. Elvis says, Lupin, interesting developments here on the couch, where the man has fallen asleep watching the bright, screaming box we're not allowed to stand in front of. And now Puck's asking a question. And let's read Elvis's answer. And this one. And we have kitties doing the things kitties do. Let's go on to this one. It starts out with a really big vocabulary word. So Lupin says, pandemonium. Now you finish reading it. Wonder what the word pandemonium means. If you're not sure, Miss Sunshine will explain. Pandemonium means crazy chaos, lots of noise. People could be scared or screaming or craziness. So he says, pandemonium and terror today. The vacuum is out. So some cats don't really like the vacuum or the noise that it makes. Let's see how Elvis feels about it. Okay, there it is. Now we have Lupin asking Puck. And here's Puck. How does he feel about it? He said, I'm not coming out. And here we have a picture of our vacuum. Let's look. And now this one. Let's see what Puck has to say. He says, the laptop is roasty on my toesies. And the lady character says, Elvis, come on. And then Lupin says, let's see what Lupin has to say. Look at those poor ladies' face. So she's decided she's going to go somewhere she can't have kitties on her keyboard. Let's see what they say. Let's see if you remember this word, ma'am. They want to get in that room. Now we're going to read this speech bubble together because, again, it's kind of got some smaller typing, and I want to talk about this first word. Devastation here in the kitchen, where the men opened a can of what was thought to be cat food, but turned out to be something called pineapple. Devastation, what does that mean? Devastation means disaster, oh no. Lupin was really hoping that that pineapple was cat food. Now let's see what Elvis has to say. And Puck is making his comment. Let's take a look at this. Is called a pie chart. And we, throughout the school year, have done a lot of graphing. We graphed gummy bears, we graphed candy hearts. We did a lot of graphing, and a pie chart, like in this illustration, is another type of graph. So the title of this chart is What's in Cans? And these cats seem to think most cans contain cat food. Some have corn, some have tuna, and then there's other. Let's see what Lupin has to say. And down at the bottom it says terrible. It's just a big pine cone wearing a hat. He's talking about pineapple. A pine cone wearing a hat is how he describes. Evidence suggests it's gross. And then Puck seems to feel differently. Really terrible. And then Elvis says, why would, and I'm going to say, gosh, let this happen. Let's read this one. Ooh. All right, friends, we are going to end our video right there. And while we're not quite done with Breaking Cat News, we're going to move on to a different book the next time I see you. I hope you enjoyed reading of these silly cats and their different adventures.